Drive came out back in 2011, and I saw it, I think, 2012 or 13, but these two just saw it Friday night. So this is our review for it. This is probably one of my favorite films. I don't know if it's a perfect movie, but I really like it because it's shot so well. And by that I mean the shots, they're all really beautiful. The color, everything about it, I love. I have a couple complaints about this movie, and these are really, really minor. The one is, this is spoilers, but near the end of the movie where he's in the car bleeding, and it's a very slow shot, and then the music, A Real Hero, starts. I thought that was maybe a little too long of a shot, and it just kind of felt too long. Like it could have been a little shorter. There's a lot of shots. Picky. Yeah, it's really picky, but there's a lot of shots in this movie that are very long, which I don't necessarily mind. There's another conversation between the driver and the girl he likes, and it's a really long pause, and it feels really awkward. And it was probably supposed to, and in this movie, it's based off of a book, and I've never read the book. I don't know how accurate it is to the book. And the character's supposed to be mysterious, but sometimes you kind of get the feeling like, you know, what exactly is his problem? Like, who is he? But I guess that's the point of the character. And one thing I noticed was that in a movie like this, where the main character, you don't know much about him, and you never really learn that much about him, that character can work, but for that character to work, you really need strong supporting characters, and I think this movie had that. All the casting choices, to me, they really stood out. They were good actors, very charismatic, and that made this movie work perfectly.
Yeah, I would agree with a lot of what you said. I also thought some of the scenes with him and the girl were a little awkward, and that he seemed a little aloof. But like you said, I think that's part of just his character. As far as the supporting characters go, I think I just could have used more time with some of them, especially Bryan Cranston's character. But yeah, other than that, I did really like it. I think the tone is really unique. It reminds me to a certain extent of 70s action films, where it's kind of deliberately paced, a little slower, and somewhat gritty. But then at the same time, it's also very stylistic and pulpy, kind of like a pulp fiction novel or something. So it's this interesting blend of different tones, and I was really impressed by that. It's not something I've seen before.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too. All the characters in it, all the actors did a good job with their characters. Most of the characters aren't very interesting, including the main guy, the driver. He's supposed to be mysterious, as you said, but he isn't really that interesting. And then the other characters, they all do a very good job as far as the actors go, but none of them get that much screen time, so no one's that interesting. But the performances are all very good. It is a bit slow, but it didn't bother me. Usually slow movies I don't like as much. It didn't bother me. In this movie, I think it helped being slow, and then it got a little bit more action-packed as it went on, which I do like when movies do that. I did like the villains a lot, especially since a good villain, a lot like you can relate to him more. With these villains, like they made a mistake and they're trying to fix it, and they make him feel more human. I mean, you didn't feel bad for them, but they felt more real, and it helps villains a lot. So I did like it overall, pretty much.
Yeah, I think you're right about the villain's plot, because in a lot of these kinds of movies, it's like the villains are just these terrible people, and they just do something to the hero just because they're terrible people. And this is just like they made a mistake, and they have to fix it, and it's just kind of this BS situation, and everyone's just kind of a victim of circumstance to a certain extent.
Yeah, and the only other thing I'd mention about it, I really love the soundtrack. It really goes well with the film. Real Hero has become one of my favorite pop songs, but just all the soundtracks in the movie I really loved.
Yeah, I would agree.
So as far as rating goes, I would I'd give this a 10 out of 10, which is rare for me.
I'll give it an 8 out of 10, I guess.
All right, I'm gonna give it a 9, which I guess is kind of when I get everything, but.
We mostly watch better movies, but
We pretty much only review movies that we like.